Hi, I'm Ish Monroe. Here we are again at C&C Marine in Modesto, rigging my 2013 Z520Cs with the Yamaha SHOs on them. Going to be putting power poles on them, the Lowrance electronics, Hydrowave, Bob's jack plate. I mean, we're going to go through this thing all over again, show you exactly what I'm doing and how my boats are going to be rigged for 2013. Come on, check it out.
Where'd my help go?
Your help's right here. As you can see, we've got Greg, the service manager. He's already kind of jumped in and getting the Bob's jack plate rigged up. This is all the stuff here that's going into this boat. You know, I've already kind of taken out the AGM battery because I'm going to be running lithium batteries by Smart Battery, which I have 2 boxes of those here. I've got a Motor Guide trolling motor. I mean, I've got a lot of Lowrance electronics that I'm going to be rigging in this boat. I'm going to be running roughly 4 units, the new HDS 9 touchscreens. I've got to have my Sonic Hub because I got to have my jams in the boat. Power poles, got 2 of those that we're rigging up right now. I've got the B.A.S.S Machine Shop hydraulic jack plate, which to me is the best jack plate on the market. It's the smoothest, it's made out of metal, there's no plastic in it so you don't get any rubbing or anything like that. Just keep them greased and they're unbeatable. I mean, this is what guys put on their race boats. And so I'm going to be rigging it with the new Yamaha SHO, which we have sitting over here. Got a brand new Yamaha 250 SHO. It's sitting here and it's rigged and pretty much ready to go to be put on the boat. You know, one thing, the great part about Bob's, if you do order a Bob's jack plate from Bob's Machine Shop themselves, they'll actually pre-drill the holes for you for your power pole brackets. So it makes it really simple and easy. Hold on, I gotta get that up here, the winch up here. There you go. Makes it really easy to mount the brackets, super simple. You know, 2 guys can roughly rig a jack plate and these in less than an hour. We'd really like to get an impact gun in here, but you know, we're just tightening them down, you know, with a socket wrench and just we'll get them super duper tight. He'll go one way and I'll go the other and we'll make sure these things don't even move. Let me give you a quick tour of the Z520C Ranger. You know, there's been several different things, some model changes throughout the years, but I believe that the Ranger Z520C is the best and baddest that they've come out with. You know, they pretty much kept the standard trailers. I went with the ATX wheels on it this time, but we go with one 45-gallon gas tank right up here. We've actually changed out the back deck a little bit, so you've got a little bit more space back there. A lot more open with a single console like we have here. The cool part about this boat is now I have plenty of room for my co-angler, room for myself. Well, the new feature with the Z520C is they've got rid of the carpet so you don't get any more mildew in your rod lockers anymore, and there's actually a ventilation system that has a fan in it so that you can actually run fresh, clean air throughout the whole front deck of the boat. This new Z520C has so much room up here in the front deck. I mean, you can literally almost fish 3 guys in the front. New front panel that I'll be running an HDS 10 up here. They've made a new panel so you can actually fit an HDS 10 all the way in the front of that. I'll have my Hydrowave plugged in right there. I'll probably be running an HDS 8 right next to it. Another cool thing that PowerPole did is they have their wireless foot switch, which is amazing. So no more running wires. This is gonna make the boat neat and clean, no more drilling holes through it. It's a complete Sea Monster system that's completely wireless, so I have a wireless foot switch for my power poles. Some of the cool things is they've got a new console that just really aerodynamic. You know, now you'll be able to lay your rod tips all the way up here without having them bouncing around, laying up awkward on top of the console. You know, it has a cool day box that there's enough tackle you should be able to fit in this day box here to fish out of. If you can't fish out of that day box, then there's probably a problem. You got too much tackle in your boat. And everybody knows how much I love tackle. So another great thing is they've also created a full console up here that you can put up to an HDS 10 in it. Actually, a touchscreen 12 will actually fit up there as well. I've got mine cut for a 9 that I'm going to place in there. Dual trim, one for my jack plate, one for the trim on my motor. I love the tilt steering wheel. You know, It's a new console all the way around. It has a keypad on both sides, and there's the master technician, Richard. He wants to just say hi. You know, folks, let me tell you, I've been to a lot of different dealers all over the country, and Richard is phenomenal. He's one of the best that I've seen when it comes to rigging a boat. Between him and Greg, getting your boat rigged here at C&C Marine, you really can't go wrong. So, even if you do, buy another boat, they're a Mercury, Yamaha, Evinrude warranty and service. These guys are all certified. So, come to C&C Marine and they definitely will take care of you, with as well as a full tackle room with all the good stuff, the Robo, the River to Sea. They got my bling spinner baits. They're gonna have the Biggie Series crankbaits. They're gonna missile baits. They're gonna have it all here. So, you can check out their tackle storage. Another cool feature that Ranger came up with is they have the seats that here that actually move and adjust forward. So for you short guys, for you tall guys, you're gonna have plenty of room in this console here. I've seen guys, 300 plus pound guys that can sit in this seat and still have plenty of leg room out there. I'm running a hot foot again, and that's pretty much the new Z520C boat. I mean, I just love it. I'm so excited. I feel like a kid. Christmas. It is Christmas, so I got my Christmas gift. Now we're getting ready to hang the motor. One thing about Yamaha, when they ship these motors, they make sure that there's no give and no play in the shipping, so that your engine comes out like it came off the assembly line to go on the boat. One more. Voila. Right there? Awesome. That's when you get guys who know what they're doing. He got it right on the first shot.
It's all in the forklift driver.
It is all working. There we go. Got it. Stainless steel jack plate motor bolts, so you don't get any rust. Yep. Motor's mounted. Right now we're just finishing up taking off the mounting hardware that they had on it from the crate. They're making sure these things are so sturdy in those crates, so you don't get any damage to it. The C-Star steering that we're getting ready to mount. Cool thing about this year, what they did is they actually created the hoses to go right to the back of the boat, and the power steering wires are already run right to the front of the steering wheel. So it's just a pretty easy, simple assembly that we're going to mount.
Let's get this lined up.
Now we got the steering lined up. I mean, this thing's just moving along just fine. I mean, it's just kind of great. Everything's going smoothly. All the holes are drilled just right. All the washers are fitting just perfectly, so we're not having any issues. That's one reason that I really like to rig my boats, is because I know everything that's going on. So if I have a mechanical failure or something actually goes wrong out there, I can try to fix the problem. We're feeding in the actual cables that run from the engine to the battery. And so we're going to feed this through here, like so. It's where all your power comes from. And I took the AGM battery out of there, I'm going to put in the smart battery. Once again, I'm running Motor Guide trolling motor. I've got it through bolted, and so I've got nuts on the back side of the bolts down here so that this thing never ever moves.
They just have an angle on them. Can you see that? So they fit the shaft without making a gap.
Over the last day and a half, we've been working really hard to get a lot of the wiring done on the boat, especially after run the new blade power poles. The great thing about these is the blades actually go right up into the unit itself. They're lighter, they're slimmer, so you don't have the pole hanging out and got the least amount of vibration now. And then the Yamaha SHO, we got that mounted up on the jack plate. We've got the wires ran for it. We got the fuel pump. I mean, we've got everything pretty much a lot cleaner this year than I have in previous years. Just the hoses are a little bit different, and Ranger's design in the back of the boat for the steering wires going right to the back. I mean, everything's a lot more simpler, a lot more clean, a lot more easier to get to. You know, as you can see, we've got both the pumps for the power poles sitting in the back of the boat there. So I'll still be able to have enough room back in there to store my trolling motor once I get the batteries in there, because I will, you know, always keep a spare. You know, people talk about, well, if you run this trolling motor, you don't need to carry a spare. You run that trolling motor, you don't need to carry a spare. I don't care what it is. It's mechanical. This is what I do for a living. So if I run 60 or 70 miles down the lake, and because I hit a stump and I bend the shaft or I snap the cable, I want to be able to keep myself in the water, so I will be carrying a spare trolling motor. And the great part about the Motor Guy trolling motor is it's very easy to swap out. It's 2 screws in the foot pedal, 1 screw at the top, and I'm back to fishing within 10 minutes. Another thing new that Ranger did this year on the new 520C is they put a single fuel tank in it, basically do with all the EPA stuff, but also it's a no burnt tank now with this single fuel tank. So back in the day when you used to fill it up and then all of a sudden fuel's spilling out, you're not going to have that problem anymore. And they also, if somebody sticks a hose down in there, they can't actually siphon your fuel out of your tank. So, you know, it's great to have these new, you know, basically it's a one-way tank. Fuel goes in, the only way it comes out is when you're pulling it from the engine.
Cleaning the area where we're going to stick the 2-way tape so it gets a good adhesion.
You know, they talk about the Hydro Wave on TV. Kevin Van Dam says he won't fish without it. I don't fish without it. I mean, all the anglers, Elite Series anglers out there have Hydro Waves on their boat, and, you know, it's just one of those things where it does help you catch 1 or 2 more fish. I mean, you see how fish get active. You know, you pull in an area, there's absolutely nothing going on in that cove, and you turn that Hydro Wave on, and all of a sudden you see bait starting to pop, and you'll see swirls because fish are starting to chase bait. It just turns a reaction. So having a Hydro Wave on your boat is definitely going to help you catch more fish.
Okay, we're going to stick this now.
It's installing the wireless foot pad for the power poles, which now it's 1 foot pad to control 1 single pole or both poles at the same time, and you just tap it with your foot and it's easy to go.
Do it.
Perfect. I'm working on the Sirius module for XM radio and weather on my Lowrance HDS unit.
Take our Phillips screwdriver bit.
A little extra fiberglass out of there. Always handy to have a shop vac handy when you're drilling.
Yep. And then we're going to take each hole and we're going to do this.
Waller out the holes.
Just with a Phillips bit is all you need. This just keeps it from cracking. That's it.
Good. Pop the little white caps in, like so. Voila.
I'm waiting for you.
installing the LGC 4000 for the Lowrance HGS units. Basically what I like to do is I'll run the LGC 4000 just because it's a little bit more accurate than the internal antennas that come in the HGS units. And so what I'll do is I'll have one in the rear for the units at the console, and then up front I have one at the bow as well for the units up there, so I can get an exact pinpoint on the structure that I want to fish. Basically, when I order my boats from Ranger, I actually have them install the network, the whole network throughout the boat, the NEMA. And so what it is your LGC 4000 plugs into that, and then it plugs into the back of your unit, so all of them are networked. So any of the 4 units that are plugged into that network, I can actually use that antenna. They put an emergency brake on the tires. It's an option that you can add, and what it is it's basically now you don't have to carry blocks anymore to stop your trailer from rolling. Once you sit there, you back it up to the spot that you want it, you put the brake down like it is here. You can put a lock on here if you want to, so that it'll never get pulled, and then you're pretty much don't have to ever worry about carrying a block anymore. So it's a pretty nifty feature. That's basically up. You can tow. That's down, locked. Boat's not going to move at all. Basically, I just use a little bit of alcohol, wiped it down just to clean off the dust and the dirt off of it, so you get a good stick, and you don't have to worry about your full foot peeling up on you. But usually with 3M, you don't have too much worries on that anyways. And what I'll do is I'll just basically start from the back. Fits right in the slot right there, up like so. There you go. Got your camo. And I also run one on the hot foot as well, underneath the console back there. You want to power this in too while you're down there? I also ordered from the factory. I had the Hambies put on at the factory. It's really good for, you know, protecting the keel of your boat. So if I want to, I can beach the boat, or, you know, I can park it on the ramp and not damage any of the fiberglass. So it's always a good option to make sure you get a Hambies on there, or a keel shield. I mean, any one of those is going to be really good to use. You got it? Yep. You know, another cool thing about, you know, mounting the structure scan in my boat this year is I'm actually mounting it on a plate that sits behind the console there, and then we have, basically it's turned, so in my box that I keep all my tackle in, I won't see it, and then I won't even see it on the backside, so it's going to be out of the way of the weather. You know, the 520C has come with so many great new features that allows you to do things like this to totally keep your, you know, structure scan out of the elements. It's just going to be also out of my way, and I fish very neat and clean, so having my structure scan box on this plate that's going to sit behind where my tackle is and on the backside of the console is definitely the way to go. So, you know, Danny Miller of Miller Punch Weights, Danny came out with a great idea called the red one, and it's his red cable that he uses for his trolling motors. He makes them for Motor Guide, he makes them for Minn Kota. I use them for Motor Guide. I mean, these things are indestructible. I fished with it all year long, and I never had a problem. It helps to lift and pull out the trolling motor a whole lot easier. I mean, you know, when you get a brand new gator mount, this thing is so easy to snap that I can just snap it, lift it right up. So definitely go out and check the red one, you know, by Danny Miller. It's an amazing thing to have on any of your trolling motors. One cool thing about, you know, the Ranger Z520C is they allow you to put 3 Group 31 batteries on one side. You know, I'm running smart batteries. Basically, it's a lithium battery, and you've got 94 pounds of weight only on one side. So basically, you know, you're reducing 200 pounds of weight out of your boat when you're using the lithium batteries. And so you can see I got it set up where I have 2 the long way and 1 across both those batteries, and then I'll show you how I have them installed. So besides the lightness of the battery and how long that they last, there's nothing that I found wrong with these batteries. I mean, one-handed install. You see that? There, one hand. Get it down. Like so. Get your strap. Going across. And that's one battery. Installed that easy. Another cool feature, the locker bar, you know, it actually has an alarm system on it. So if someone actually cuts the lock, the alarm will sound off. You hear it beeping. And once it's locked and you shake it, it warns the people that they shouldn't be messing with it. And then it gets louder and louder and louder. And basically it's just a deterrent system, you know. The real crooks out there, if they want it, they're going to break through it anyways, but it keeps the honest, and, you know, when you're traveling across the country and you're carrying a bunch of equipment, you know, I've got crankbaits that I just really don't want to part with. So I put the locker bar on there just for an extra little added safety. You can order it straight from Ranger, and they'll install it for you there at the factory. Get them to put the plug in, turn the power switch on. So I have power. The one thing that I did when I rigged the batteries is I connected everything so I could have one main power switch to turn all the power off on the boat. You know, here's another cool feature, Moto-Stop. Man, I can't even tell you, you know, every time I travel across the country, this Moto-Stop is a lifesaver for the transom. It's a lifesaver for the trim tabs, for the motor. I mean, go out there and get you a Moto-Stop. It's moto-stops.com. Go there, they make it for Mercury, Evinrude, Yamaha. Even the factory says that this is the best one that they've seen if you're not going to use a standard transom saver that runs from the trailer back to the motor. Another cool thing that I do is I run the Motor Guide machete prop. It's a metal prop. You get no flex and you get less vibration out of your motor. It does make your batteries work a little harder. That's another reason why I run the smart batteries. The metal prop cuts through the grass a whole lot easier. The first initial break-in, I'll run the live well pumps, I'll check the lights, run the power poles, run the motor. I mean, you turn on every single accessory that you have. You know, I've been listening to the Sonic Hub while I've been in my boat working on things, so I already know the Sonic Hub works, but you still want to go through and make sure everything is working on your initial run out on the water. Get ready to turn it over. First start up on the water. Smooth as silk, Yamaha SHO.
And you don't stop, and you won't stop, 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 and you don't stop.